Hello and welcome back to Grace.Filled. My name is Christy and I'm so excited to be back with you guys for another video. I thought in this video I would just sit down and talk with you for a little bit about marriage because in just a couple days I'll be celebrating my 13th year of being married. So I decided this video would be 13 things that I've learned in my 13 years of marriage. I know marriage is different for everyone. There's so many things that go into it, but I just want to talk to you about a few things that I've learned. I got married not too young, but young, and my marriage hasn't been perfect. There's been lots of trials and challenges, and there's been a lot of learning and growing, and it still isn't where I want it to be, but I cannot express how thankful I am to have made it thus far. So with that being said, I think the first thing that I want to say is that you have to decide not to give up. And so that is the first thing, just making up in your mind that giving up is not an option. The second thing is love the hell out of your spouse. I know that I never use profane language on this channel, but sometimes you have to just love them from that deepest, darkest place. And sometimes they have to do the same for you. The Bible says, through love and kindness have I drawn thee. And it talks about honey and all these things. And sometimes we can do more with sweetness and with love than we can with anything else. And it's not about what the other person deserves, because we didn't get what we deserve when he went to the cross for us. But it's just about covering and loving. Number 3 is being slow to speak and quick to reconcile. It is so easy to just get diarrhea of the mouth and say stuff that you cannot get back. And so when I was younger, I had a cousin that died when we were about 8, and I never got a chance to tell her sorry for a fight that we had. And when I saw her, she was in a hospital hooked up to all types of monitors and stuff, and she held her hand out and I held her hand, and to me that was our way of apologizing. But I have no idea what we fought about, what we argued about. It was the silliest thing, and she's gone. And it's like tomorrow's not promised to any of us. And I learned at that moment, you cannot take back what you say. And from that moment on, I have really guarded my tongue and learned how to tame it and learn how to be mindful of the things that come out, because they say sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. But that is not true. Words hurt so bad, especially when it's from the people that are the closest to you and the people that are supposed to love you and care about you and treasure you and honor you and value you the most. So, slow to speak. It's so important. Number 4, we're on the same team. Sometimes it might seem like we're not on the same team, like we're going at or we want different things. But at the end of the day, we're on the same team. We want the same thing, which is ultimately to please the Almighty Yahweh and what is best for our family. 5, it is important to communicate. Yes, you should know by now how to do X, Y, Z. Yes, I should know by now how to do X, Y, Z. But it is important that we still not talk to them like that they're our children, because I hate it when my spouse does that to me. But just like we have to remind our children, don't forget, sometimes it's good to remind your spouse of things as well, and not just to assume that they remember or that they should remember or that they will. Number 6, it is important to date. We can get so busy, and then of course with different things with the economy, and then for me, we are a family of 7 on one income, so finances play a part, daycare, so it's just not as easy to date. But it is so important to continue to date and make it a priority, no matter how big your family is, no matter how much money you have, because honestly, you can have some free dates right at your own home, and you can do it when your children are sleeping at night, or even have an early date before they wake up, or have a midnight date. There are options, and if it's important to you, you'll make it happen. Along those same lines goes into number 7, and that is keeping yourself looking good. You may have gained weight, you may have lost weight, you may have done some things that maybe you didn't like, some things you can control, some things you can't control. But this is what I'll tell you. When your spouses are at work, chances are their coworkers look nice. Their coworkers probably have themselves together. They may not be in shape, okay? So I'm not saying that it's just about size, but they probably have combed their hair. They probably don't have on a scarf. They probably have on some sort of makeup or polish, or they just look presentable and put together. And if not, your coworkers or their coworkers, certainly the people that come into the place. And so it's important that they see you as still attractive and looking good as well, so that their eyes are not tempted, if I'm just being real, to look otherwise or else. And the same for the men. Keep yourself up. If your lady's like you in shape, then work out. You know, if she doesn't, then that's between you guys. Number 8, if it's important to him, it's important. If it's important to me, it's important. And what's important to me may not be important to you or to him. But I think that when you see me honoring and caring about what you care about and what's important to you, it makes you more likely to be inclined to hear what's important to me and what I want. And it's like, I kind of rub your back, you kind of rub my back type of thing. Number 9 is hard, but it's to give your spouse your best and not your leftovers. After a long day, you can be tired. Let's not beat around it. After a long day, you probably are tired, especially if you're taking care of children, taking care of home, cooking 3 meals, taking care of the laundry. It's a lot. Add in chickens or animals or gardens or trying to do any type of affiliate work or work at home work. It is a lot, but your spouse doesn't need to get like, oh. But even if it's a, hey babe, hey, just let them feel like they matter and they're important to you, and not that they're sloppy leftovers. Like, you know what? I've been working all day. I don't got time for you. Which I know is so much harder done than said. I know that. I know. Number 10, spare him some of the details of the day. Tell some, but not everything. And what I mean by that is when he walks to the door, he's already had his own long day. He's already had his own issues, his own troubles. The kids are probably like, Daddy, Daddy, Daddy. They're happy to see him. They're excited to share with him. And the last thing he needs is you standing giving him a whole rundown of every single detail that happened the entire day. He's going to be like, before you even finish. He's probably got to use the bathroom. Probably wants to get his shoes off. Probably just wants to relax a little bit. And maybe he even wants to tell you something. So I just learned to just keep it really short and simple. How was the day? Oh, it was good. And maybe one detail. Oh, Aaron got all of his spelling words right except one. Or, yeah, it was a good day. Today the kids learned XYZ. But I'm not giving a whole page because honestly, he doesn't want to hear it. Number 11, while we're talking about kids, the kids come third. And that is so hard. And it's been hard for me. So first comes the Most High God, and then comes your spouse, and then comes your children. But for me, because when I was younger, I did things out of order and I had a child out of wedlock, it was the Most High first and then my child. And then later I got married, and it was like, oh, you don't come above my child. Like I've seen women take care of their men and dog out their children, abuse their children, mistreat their children, not pay any attention to their children, but all up in their husband's face. And I'm like, I'm not that kind of lady. Nope, not happening. You can just but the Most High had to work on me. Like the order is him, then spouse, then children. And so even though my son was here first, my spouse still needs to come first. And for me, it doesn't mean that I treat my children like peasants and my husband like a king. No, that's not how I do things. You've seen in my videos. I've been making these videos for 6 years. I love my children. They are such a blessing and such a gift to me, but also I want to love on my husband just the same, if not more as well, so that he doesn't feel like that they're the kings and queens and that he's the peasant. And I will be honest, sometimes that balance can be a little bit skewed. So while we're talking about that balance, let's get into number 12, and that is don't badmouth your spouse. So I probably can count the times that I say something negative about my spouse. And earlier on in our relationship, I learned that you just can't tell certain people about what's happening in your marriage and or with your spouse, because they will have their own opinions, they'll have your judgments, they're ready to condemn you or him, and they can write things off, and you can be ready to reconcile and just forgive and move on, and they may still be looking like So for me, don't badmouth your spouse. Don't say anything bad about them publicly. I don't think that I've ever said anything bad about my husband here on YouTube. I don't think I have not. And again, I've been on here for 6 years. Are there things that I could say? Yeah. Are there things he could say? Yeah. But am I gonna say it? No, I'm not. So what issues I have, I take it to the Father, and this is what I say: Father, I need to talk to you. This is what he said to me. This is what he did to me. This is how he made me feel. This is how he hurt me. And then I let the Most High handle him. And then I can know that my hands are clean, because that's what I want: a clean hands and a pure heart, right? And that's what I say, like, breathe into me, O Lord, the breath of life, so that my heart is pure before thee and my soul made right. And so the next thing, really, they just keep building upon. But number 13 is simply to keep your relationship private. And what I mean by that is, it's funny. I've had people recently say, I didn't even know you were married. Been married for 13 years, just about. I don't talk about my spouse a lot. I don't talk about him often for various reasons. I won't get into that on here. But I think that public relationships don't necessarily do as well as private relationships. And I think that most things in your relationship would probably do better if you kept it private versus broadcasting it for everybody to see, to know, to hear. And again, everybody has opinions, and that's how opinions are formed and all these things. But when you think about things from a biblical standpoint, we are to cover. Love covers a multitude of sin. And I'm not saying this in a way, I've got to clarify, always have to clarify, to say that your husbands can be mistreating you, dogging you out, abusing you, and you have to take that and accept that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just simply saying you don't have to come and make a YouTube video or a Facebook or Instagram post every time your husband says or does something that you don't like. You don't have to share with the world what he said or did that you didn't like. But all things with a grain of salt, and you know what's best for you and your family, so you have to work according to that. But I'm just sharing 13 tips that I have learned in these 13 years of marriage. I'll come back and talk about how to make time for your spouse. I'll come back and talk about just ways that you can really love on your spouse and more. I won't get into all that now, but I do want to say I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your busy schedules and days and lives to watch this video. If you watched all the way to the end, thank you so much. It means so much to me. If you haven't already joined my Grace.Filled family, you can go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And if you're not following me over on Instagram, I am over there at Grace.Filled Homeschool. I'll leave it in the description box, but this question actually came from over there. Sometimes I do Q&As, or I ask you guys what you want me to talk about in my stories and stuff, and this is what somebody wanted to know. Just some tips for marriage and how to make time for the spouse. So I'll be coming up with more of those. Would you guys help me? Would you do me a big favor? would you, one, make sure your notifications are on, because a lot of you are telling me that you're not seeing my videos. And number two, would you please leave in the comments a video that you would like to see, something that you would like to know pertaining to marriage, pertaining to homeschooling, large family living, or anything like that. And I can go ahead and get those in a queue and start working on those so that I can release those videos out soon, because ultimately, I make these videos to be an encouragement and a light and a blessing, and I want to be making videos that are gonna be beneficial to you and not me rambling. If it does you no good, then it's a waste of my time and yours. So I want to make sure that my time is being fully utilized, and that the mission that I have in my heart, which is to bring glory to the Most High and to be an encouragement and to a light, that goal is being accomplished. So I am never out of words, but I am out of time. So I am gonna go now. But until my next video, I want to say blessings. And I do have some videos that you can take a look at here and here. And I have a playlist of hundreds